ألا من كنت مولاه فهذا علي مولاه.
Imam Jafar ibn Muhammad, who was later given the title As-Sadeq, meaning the truthful one, is the 6th Imam of the 12 Shia Muslims. Born in the city of Medina, Imam As-Sadiq lived the majority of his life in the city of his grandfather, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. During his lifetime and afterwards, Imam As-Sadiq's name became synonymous with knowledge and piety. Despite the attempts to silence and harass him, Imam As-Sadiq spent his entire life spreading the knowledge of Al-Muhammad to students and concreting the true message of Islam in the hearts of the believers. Since the Imam lived through a time of political instability, he was able to focus his efforts on transmitting hadiths from the Holy Prophet Muhammad to students across the Muslim world. Thus, scholars have found more hadiths from Imam As-Sadiq than any of the other Imams combined. It is the reason that the 12 Shia jurisprudence is sometimes referred to as the Ja'fari school, due to the immense knowledge that we have received from Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad As-Sadiq.
Imam As-Sadiq, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, was in a way a reincarnation of the message and teachings and traditions of the Holy Prophet of God, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In fact, it was the Prophet himself who prophesied and foretold the birth of Imam As-Sadiq, and he was the one who gave him the title As-Sadiq, meaning the truthful one. Because after all, we know that his name, the name of the 6th Imam, was Jafar, the son of Muhammad, but it was the Prophet who gave him the title As-Sadiq.
Imam As-Sadiq was the son of Imam Muhammad al-Baqir and the grandson of Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein Zayn al-Abidin as-Sajjad, both of whom witnessed the Battle of Karbala. His proximity to these two great Imams meant that he inherited a great wealth of knowledge, discipline, and piety from his forefathers at a young age. Following the Battle of Karbala, the Umayyad Caliph Yazid bin Muawiyah made several attempts to dissuade people from studying their faith. Many scholars during his rule were killed and imprisoned, and the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam was severely oppressed, harassed, and sidelined from the public. Thus, the message of Islam was distorted by the scholars who were controlled and paid for by Umayyad rulers. These scholars fabricated hadiths, allowed many wrongdoings by the rulers, and clothed these wrongdoings with a cloak of religiosity. As a result, the common people had no access to the knowledge of the Prophet Muhammad, and the Muslim world entered into an age of Jahiliyyah, or known as ignorance.
Before the era of Imam Sadiq and Imam al-Baqir, alayhim as-salam, people had no access to knowledge. People were left in the dark. It was a second Jahiliyyah to the Muslims, because knowledge is not something that you can create on your own. You have to go to the source. You have to be able to access the source. But because the Ahlul Bayt were sidelined, because the Ahlul Bayt were marginalized, people didn't have access to knowledge. This is why in a hadith, Imam Sadiq says that before the emergence of my father, Imam al-Baqir, people didn't know what's halal and what's haram. There was only remnants of what was left from the time of the Prophet. Otherwise, the Sunnah of the Prophet was destroyed. The Sunnah of the Prophet, all the hadith that were written down, were burnt by the first Caliph. This is why when Imam Sadiq alayhi salam came, he was able to resuscitate Islam, to revive the religion of Islam.
The emergence of Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, whose title means the one who opens knowledge, and Imam al-Sadiq, the truthful one, caused a knowledge revolution. They mentored and taught hundreds of students on all issues, whether jurisprudential, theological, medical, or even scientific. Their contributions to the faith and our worldview is immeasurable. Thus, when we want to look at our own faith today, we find that many of our own traditions are based off of narrations from Imam al-Sadiq, who established Shi'ism jurisprudential foundations as we know of them today. In order to transmit these teachings, the Imam pursued a complex approach similar to those of his forefathers. While he focused on teaching some of his closest companions the secrets and knowledge of Al Muhammad, he also established and renewed the University of the Ahlul Bayt, where thousands of Muslim students were taught all kinds of sciences that they were not familiar with earlier. Researchers who study the life of Imam al-Sadiq say that the Islamic civilization and the golden age of Islam owes its progress, advancement, and knowledge to Imam al-Sadiq, for the amounts of knowledge that he passed on to his students in the various fields, many of whom became world-renowned, such as Jabir ibn Hayyan, the father of chemistry. According to historians like Ibn Uqda al-Hamdani, a reliable scholar of chains of narration, Imam al-Sadiq apparently had over 4,000 students scattered across the Muslim worlds, all of who claimed to be students of Imam Jafar ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq.